How's it going, wrestling fans? Thanks for tuning in to the Wrestle Report, episode 12 with Phil and Don. I am Phil.
I'm Don.
Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And actually, Don, I haven't talked to you in a couple days. How was your Thanksgiving while we're on the subject?
It's all right. I was solo dolo, so
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I cooked for myself, and some chicken, and some au gratin potatoes. Easy money.
There you go. See, I was the opposite. I had two Thanksgivings because we went to, my fiance's family the day before, and then we went to my family the actual day of Thanksgiving. So we had to double up this year, but it was a good time. Nothing like turkey times two anyway. So
True.
for sure. So I hope everyone out there had a good Thanksgiving and enjoyed the Thanksgiving Thanksgiving tradition that is Survivor Series. I got a little bit mixed feelings on it. I mean, this show really could have been just the Undertaker send-off, and that's what everybody was talking about. So we will just kind of briefly go over Survivor Series. I think it was hurt of the fact that NXT wasn't, a factor this year after kind of showing that off and then kind of taking it away. I wasn't a huge fan of, but just to go through the matches here quickly. Well, one thing I didn't know, and it's the way to get me to watch everything, the pre-show had a battle royal on it, which I think they should do every pre-show that they don't have another plan. Just throw everybody out there. I don't know if you caught the pre-show or not. I just happened to have it on. I got lucky on this, but it came down to they pulled Miz went out of the ring, and Dominic Mysterio thought he won the thing, and Miz slides in the ring and dumps him out. So I thought that was actually a neat bit of storytelling. Would have been cool if Dominic won. That actually would have been pretty huge. That would have been his first real big singles thing, with no storyline attached. But I mean, Miz winning makes all the sense in the world too. So yeah, you want me to watch your show? Just put a battle royal on it. And they must have heard me because I said that last show. So there that was. First match on the show. They started with the men's Survivor Series match, which I thought was a little surprising. Team Raw getting the sweep, which in a way makes sense because, it's funny. We didn't know who all the SmackDown guys were last episode. I don't know how we didn't guess Otis was going to get thrown in there because neither of us did, but that seemed obvious to me. But what'd you think of Raw getting the clean sweep on a dysfunctional SmackDown team?
I mean, I didn't really care for this match. This was the one match I didn't really care about at all. This one and the women's, mainly the other champion versus champion matches. That's what I really cared about. So
Right.
no harm, no. I really didn't care.
It's a shame when you don't care about the elimination matches on Survivor Series because that's the whole point of the show.
Because that's one of the big matches. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
but like you said, it would have been better if NXT was in that. It would have been way better.
Yeah. I mean, it really they kicked it off well with Seth Rollins kind of like sacrificing himself, and I don't know that he's explained why he's done this yet. He just let Sheamus kick him in the face and lose, and they were a man down the whole time, and they did give Jey Uso a little comeback as he would have been. He was the last guy for SmackDown and whatever. Raw getting the win that comes into play later, where Roman is upset with Jey Uso and that whole bit. You've embarrassed the family and all that stuff, and that comes into play later. But I think I did predict this correctly because I said even though AJ made a big deal about him being the team captain, and not that he did anything captain-like, but he's at least given himself credit that, hey, I captained this team not only to a win, but to a clean sweep. So, I mean, that's probably something he'll brag about here for a while. Next up, I don't know about you, but this was probably the match of the night with the Street Profits versus the New Day, tag champs versus tag champs. We both – there you go, red cups up. We both wanted – imagine – this match was already good. Imagine if it had the extra umph of a unification match. Like, that would have been fantastic. And I think the Street Profits getting the win was the right call. A loss does not hurt the New Day in any way, shape, or form. And I think this really shined the Street Profits up a little bit. So this, to me, was match of the night on Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, man. And, like, it was sucks about it. I didn't get to watch it live because I was on my way home from work.
Okay.
So I was like when I was at work, I was able to listen to it, not actually watch it. So then I was able to watch it later on when I got home, and I was like, "Yo, this is better watching than listening to it." Like I was just playing it in my head the whole time. Man, I love Montez, man. Montez is that dude. And then who's underrated too? Dawkins is underrated. He is
Dawkins,
really athletic. He's good.
he's been in that developmental system for so long. Back when I used to go to NXT all the time, I've seen them try to stick like so many different gimmicks on him. This one finally stuck. There was a time where he was teaming with Chad Gable, even that it was like dark matches and stuff. But they tried a lot of stuff with him that didn't really click. And I remember the first dark match. I'm pretty sure I was at the first Street Profits match ever, and I've never seen Montez before. I've seen Dawkins 100 times, and they come out, and you're like, who is that guy? And they just immediately clicked, and you knew it was going to be, it was going to be magic. And I tell the story all the time. For some reason, Dawkins has their opponent in the corner, and he gives them like a really good Ric Flair chop. And Montez is on the apron and just loses his shit. He's just like, oh, and he gets off the apron. He starts running around no, I don't know about anybody else in the arena, but I didn't know who he was at the time. And he immediately like hooked me. I'm like, all right, I know Dawkins is solid. This guy's got the charisma. They only got, I don't know that I ever thought they'd be on this level, but I'm glad they are because they clearly deserve it. They deserve all the smoke that they're getting. So
definitely, man,
yeah.
they're a great team, great chemistry together. They play off each other really well. And Montez is sooner or later Montez is gonna be a single star, but he can go with his ride. And I honestly think that Dawkins as well could be a single star. He could be like a Big E. He could be just like a Big E, yo.
Yeah.
Just give him some time.
I do think Montez, you'd have to go out of your way to mess up his momentum. Dawkins, you got to be a little more careful with.
Yeah.
I think there's a very straight and narrow way to make him stay over if and when the team ever breaks up. But yeah, Montez is a future star, and plus, his wife, Bianca, being a wife, fiance, whatever they are, being a superstar, that she can be his manager or not. Like, they can stay separate, whatever it takes. But no, there's a built-in extra star there. I talked about like Jey Uso getting his singles kind of shine right now, and how like if there was ever only one Uso brother, this is where he would have been the whole time. And Montez can kind of be that without having to worry about like a twin brother. He has a tag partner, but it's not like a twin brother situation. So when the Usos finally get back together, I could see Montez almost being that upper mid card, guy that fills the role that Jey Uso's playing right now, as far as like not quite a championship contender, but when he gets the match, it's not super surprising and stuff. But no, I hope they're a team for a long time, but I do look forward to that Montez singles run for sure.
But I wouldn't be mad at them if they decided to keep them just like how the New Day is.
Yeah.
And just like they could do singles matches here and there, here and there,
Mm-hmm.
here and there for both of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying both of them could be a mid card champion right now. They could be a mid card champion.
Yeah.
Montez could be a U.S. Intercontinental, same as Dawkins.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. So after, I think we both agree that was easily. I think there's only one other match that holds a candle to it. The best match on the show, so they got to kind of bring you down a little bit properly. The Bobby Lashley Sami Zayn match was, now granted, if you just let these guys go, this match would have been amazing. But the story they're telling with Sammy being the chicken shit heel, it worked perfectly. It just wasn't great. But not every match is meant to be 5 stars. Sometimes they're trying to tell a story, and I think they told one here, pretty well. Bobby Lashley gets the win, as he should have, and Sami Zayn can run back to SmackDown, and he's still kind of doing a kind of an anti-American gimmick right now because he's only the champion of the United States, and I'm the champion of all the continents, so my belt is better. And, so the story told in this was great match, not so much, but that really wasn't what they were going for. So I think this still served a purpose.
Yeah, it was all right. I don't know why I'm getting real like Fidel Castro vibes from Samuel.
Yeah,
like
no,
with him with
the
green hat and like with the bushy beard and everything. Like all he needs is a cigar and he's good.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I like his.
It was a decent match though, and I do like the storytelling. It's still playing off of. I'm trying to find a loophole to win this match.
I never thought Sammy could successfully be a heel, not for anything to do with his talent, but I didn't think you could get people to boo him. I mean, back in NXT, people talk about like Johnny Gargano being the heart and soul of NXT. Well, the original role for that was Sami Zayn, and you could not pay people to boo him in NXT. It just took this, and it took years. They couldn't have brought him right up and made him a heel. Like it wouldn't have worked. So the fact that he can pull off a heel gimmick, I think, is really showing off, the 2 dimensions that he can pull off.
him and Bailey, because Bailey
Yeah.
was another one that no one never thought that she could be a heel,
Hmm.
and now look at her now. She's one of the best heels in the business.
Right. That's true. That's a really good example. And they were in NXT around the same time. So if you
Same time,
went
yeah.
back to 2015 me and said these two people are going to be the biggest heels when they go to the main roster, I'd have called you crazy. So yeah, that's a great point about Bailey as well. Speaking of Bailey, well, not quite yet, but as far as women's wrestling goes, the other match that I think holds a candle to the tag team match was Sasha Banks versus Asuka, and this was probably better than I'm even giving it credit for, but it's something we've seen so many times. But they did
Yeah.
kick it up a notch for a pay-per-view, and they told the story how, Sasha wins belts and then she doesn't hold them for very long. And even though this wasn't a title defense, it was like a big moment for her to like, it seemed like a bigger deal than just, oh, she beat Asuka, because she's probably beaten Asuka before. So
Yeah,
that was a
she
really,
actually beat Asuka for the champ. Well, because there was that match that on Raw when Kairi Sane left.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
But
but it was not a clean. Wasn't a clean match. But this was actually a clean win for Sasha.
mm-hmm.
And I you can't. It doesn't hurt Asuka, so it is like whoever wins is it doesn't hurt the loser. Sasha wasn't gonna go down the card for that. Once again, like you said, it was champion versus champion. It was not no unification, so they're still champion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I do kind of feel like Asuka kind of needed them to win more, just because she hasn't done much. Especially who she's gone against. I think they're just really waiting for when Charlotte comes back.
Yeah.
For Charlotte and Asuka.
That's true. And yeah, Asuka probably could have deserved this win too, or needed it. They both deserve it, obviously. But the way Banks won, and they made it a big deal, and that's something they struggle with sometimes. But this, I can't put my finger on why, but it felt like a big deal. So I'll give them that at least. To keep the women's wrestling going, I don't remember a single thing about this match except the ending, because the ending was perfect. The fact that Lana having to stand on the steps and wasn't allowed to get tagged in. She got tagged in once and was running around like a house of fire. She was doing well, and her team tagged her out and had her stand there. So it's like, you don't like this girl because she can't wrestle, and she's showing you that she can, and it's not enough. But like, I can't say much about the rest of it because I don't remember a lot of it now. But but the ending was perfect, and the fact that she's a sole survivor is fantastic. And I'm sure in the next pay-per-view or whatever, they're gonna have to do the tables match with her and Nia Jax, because she's been going through tables all the time. Because TLC is coming up next, I think, right? So that's clearly where that's gonna go. Match very unforgettable. 23 minutes it looks like here, but the ending, that's one of the more creative endings I've seen. So I will give them credit for that at least.
You and me are opposite on this.
Okay.
All right. So I did not like the fact that Bianca had to go down like that for Bianca. Now you remember when I took our prediction? We was like, Lana's gonna go through the table.
Yep.
She's gonna be out on the match. They're gonna think she's done. Bianca's gonna think that she won,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden Lana comes up, rolls her up 1, 2, 3.
Right.
I would have been okay with that. I don't like counting out wins.
No, I don't either. It's one thing if like in a normal match, like double countouts, but when it's a double countout and you still have one in the chamber on the other team, it's just, it'll never work again. If you do this again, it's gonna suck. But like, I'll give them this one time. And
Okay.
well, here's my question then. When it happened, did you laugh or were you mad? Because I laughed. I thought because that's the tone the announcers were giving me. They're like, oh, double count. Oh wait, Lana's still on the steps. Lana wins. Like I thought it was supposed to be humorous, and because of that, I think it works. You know?
Well, okay. So I did laugh.
Okay.
But then I was like, damn, that's stupid. At the end, I laughed because it was dumb.
Mm. But Bianca didn't have to take a pin. That's one positive.
That is one positive. It could have been better.
Yeah. I mean, again, this can't work again, but I'll give it to you this one time. And like, I think they got the reaction out of me that they were going for. So, like, I guess, good for them on that one too. main event of the show, and I forget, this was another show that started at 7 o'clock. So I think they're hearing me now about starting, pre-show at 6, show at 7, so it can be over by 10:30, 10:30 or whatever it is, which I think is great. So this match comes along, and there's still you're still awake enough to want to watch it live. This was very good. It almost like the stakes didn't fit. It only fit because, Drew just won the title back, and, they shuffled him into this again real quick. But Jey Uso coming out and redeeming his status with the family to help Roman win. Helped him, but not really. He didn't put it on a silver platter, but he distracted Drew just enough because neither of these guys were thinking how is one of them going to lose. And they do the whole, he passed out, he didn't tap out kind of thing. Really doesn't hurt either guy. Roman's in a situation that he can't really lose. We just saw Drew lose at Hell in the Cell, so it's not this unheard of thing right now for him to lose a match here and there. So I was rather, if this is what WWE wants their future to be, I'm at least good with it. These are clearly the guys for the future, and these guys aren't that young, so it's more of a 5-year plan than a 10-year plan, but at least you see it going somewhere. So this is the most WWE main event that I think people have actually enjoyed in a long time. It went the way they wanted, and people were actually good. They're like, all right, good stuff there. This was a success on WWE's part, I think.
This was definitely a great match. I still had it at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was the tag team, this match, and then it was the Sasha Banks match.
Yeah.
It was a good match. It was hard. It was hard fought. Was striking, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
hard hitting for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I saw someone tweeted this is big hoss sons of bitches, some slacking motherfuckers. And I was just like, I don't blame him, man. That match was great, yo. It was a good match, good storytelling. Like I said, I just wish the build was better.
Yeah,
it was only a 2-week build, so it could have been better. Now I wouldn't mind seeing okay. Actually, no, I wouldn't want to see that. Never mind. I was gonna say I wouldn't mind Drew dropping the title and then Drew winning Royal Rumble, but then it was he already won a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would really want to see him win twice.
Mm-hmm.
Because Royal Rumble's next month.
Oh, man,
December.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
So I want to see what's next. That's what I want to see what's next now. But yeah, great match though.
So these 7 matches, well, 6, 7 if you count the Battle Royal, was all just one big pre-show for the reason everybody's really here, and it's for the Undertaker final farewell. And there's a lot of moving parts here. I think we'll start with they had a lot of people come out to the ring, through Undertaker's, past and everything. Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Kevin Nash. There's a lot of the Godwins. Hand to God, did not know the Godwins were still alive. That was great to see. I did not think of all, the DOA, some old Bone Skull crew members of his. Rikishi was there, Big Show, the Godfather, JBL, Kane in full ring gear for some reason. I think that was a rib. I think somebody did he not see everyone else in suits? And I got to mention Jeff Hardy was there, and his face paint was the Undertaker's symbol, which I thought was awesome. Ric Flair, Triple H, obviously in attendance. I think I said Rikishi, Mick Foley also. I'm looking at the picture because there was a lot of people. But yeah, Kane coming out in full gear, I thought was really straight. I saw the joke on Twitter where it was Kane's that guy that shows up to a party and thinks it's a costume party and finds out it's not when he gets there. And that is how it felt to me. And I mean, it's not the 90s. He could have came out as Glenn Jacobs. He could have been Mayor Glenn, he could have been in his normal suit like anybody else. It's not breaking kayfabe or anything. I mean, the Godwins.
He went through a period when he was an authority figure.
Yeah, exactly. So
he had the mask on.
I mean, he could have worn clothes and regular clothes and his mask if they wanted him to do that way, but I just thought it was strange. Then they do a video package, and I've never said this before, and I actually had to go back and watch it a second time. I didn't like the video package. I thought it was very underwhelming for some reason. It felt like something I could have thrown together on a deadline, and that's what it felt like. And that's how I felt about it live. So I literally had to go back and watch it. I'm like, maybe I just wasn't in the mood. It didn't hit me right. And I think what it is they had so many great packages throughout the last Ride series that this one fell flat. Like, so I'll give them the credit of, like, if they didn't just put out 5 bangers of tribute videos of Undertaker, like, it didn't leave much left for them to do, I think is what it came down to. But yeah, for some reason I did not love this one, but I'll give them the credit of all the other great ones they've thrown together. They come back from the, I don't know, did you like it? Did you see anything? Did it leave you
Uh,
wanting a little more from it?
yeah, you're right. The video package could have been better, but like you said, yeah, I think the last ride really ruined it just because we saw
Yeah.
all these things already. I
Hmm.
mean, it was good to hear the like Triple H and them talk about them and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it fell flat for me too.
Hmm.
And then what else? Then it killed me again. Oh, go ahead, go ahead. Let's finish it. I have one gripe about that whole segment.
Okay. My other gripe is, so they come back from the video package, and all those dudes, all his guys that we've seen, they're gone. We come back, and I think Vince McMahon's in the ring at this point, so that's cool. But by the time the Undertaker comes out, all his guys went to the back. It almost makes you wonder why they flew him in. They could have just done a video, and they could have, like, spliced that into the video package, I thought. Um, but seeing Vince McMahon is always nice because, I mean, Mother Nature's undefeated, and we're only gonna have Vince for so much longer. But um, some people had issues on, Vince didn't look well. They said stuff. Vince said WWF for the first time in like 18 years. That was definitely a little pop for me. And he almost looked in the camera like, like, I'm doing this. That was a pretty big surprise. But aside from that, and then the Undertaker comes out, and I would have loved to see a moment with Vince and Taker. And when Undertaker comes out, Vince is also gone again because they clearly filmed that earlier in the day or whatever, that part of it. But I would have liked a moment with the two of them because I think you can explain Undertaker as Vince McMahon's greatest creation. I think, character gimmick wise, his greatest
Yeah.
creation. And a moment between the two of them would have been really great. And we didn't get that. So, like, the the heart was in the right place with this segment, but it felt too blocky. Like, okay, run everybody out, have them leave. Vince is in, Vince is out. Roll the video, and then have Undertaker come out. Like, it should have been a celebration. It seemed more like pageantry to me, I guess.
See, um, I said the same thing about the like why did you have them guys out there?
Yeah.
If you just gonna take them out there right after the video package. But it was nice to see Vince, like you said. He did look. He did not. Ooh, he's looking older and older by the day, man. Every single time I see him, I'm like, damn, man.
Carly had
Days.
texted me. Shout out to Carly because she listens to the show sometimes. She said Vince had funeral makeup on. And you can't disagree, but yeah, he did look a little rough for sure.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm sorry, did you finish your thought?
Yeah. So yeah, my biggest gripe.
Hmm.
You know what they could have done? Save so much time because this segment went on and on and on. It was not going to stop.
Yeah,
I think I timed it. I think it was like 45 minutes.
easy. Yeah, easily.
So
Because
I
it
was
went
like,
over
dang,
the
man.
it went over the
Yeah, it went over
10
the
hour.
time.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I was like, damn, man, come on, bro. Like what they could have done was have everyone in the ring already, and then go just one by one, doom, and then you play the music in the background and just keep on switching. So you got Godwins play their music. You got Godfather play your music. They did not have to have an entrance for every single one of them. I counted like 10 people.
oh,
It was like
see,
10,
I was
11
at the
people that
photo
came
op.
out.
It's more than 10 people. Yeah.
It's more than 10 people.
Oh yeah.
And because the ring was full. The ring was
Hmm.
full as hell, yo.
Could have had a battle
And
royal
then
with that group.
yeah, for real. And then what you could have done was you could have had them in there, and then like when as the Undertaker's coming out, they could be clapping and stuff to give
Yes.
it to hype them up.
Hmm.
You didn't have to kick him out of there, and
Yeah.
Vince could have been in the ring with them all,
Yep.
and Vince could have done his whole spiel already with them all in the ring, and then and everyone and like everyone huddle around Undertaker. But I will say there's one thing that I loved. The only thing that I loved about this whole thing was was the hologram of Paul Bearer. That was
Yes,
the
I'm so
only
glad you
thing
mentioned that.
that I loved.
Yeah, that was
'Cause that was
extremely well done.
awesome, yo.
Mhm.
That was freaking awesome. I love me a hologram. And I love Paul Bearer, bro. Paul Bearer was the man, yo.
To hear the "oh yeah," which I'm not even gonna attempt it because it would be a discredit to the man. And my voice doesn't go that high. But like you didn't expect it. You see the hologram and then you hear the voice and you're like, everything that you had a problem with beforehand just melted away. And you're like, you know what?
Yeah,
Greatest thing of the night. You know, like so
that saved it right there.
yeah.
That alone saved it.
So they definitely
Oh
did
man.
make up for it for sure. And afterwards, I swear I keep my network subscription for the Stone Cold sessions because I went right into that. It was a 2-hour Undertaker and him sitting down, taking shots at Jack. It was such a great conversation. It's the second time they've done it, so they didn't have to go through the arbitrary like, oh, how'd you get your gimmick? How did this start? Like they dug in it. They talk about which I think we're gonna mention here in a little bit, the Undertaker at the Elimination Chamber, the fire mishap that he had. Like they dive into little minute things, and it was so fascinating to hear the little nuances of his career, not just the big things that we hear talked about over and over. So for this to roll right into the Stone Cold sessions, I enjoyed that whole 2-hour thing more than the 3-hour Survivor Series. But when you put it all together, it was a decent night of wrestling, I think.
Oh yeah, it was all right.
So we haven't gotten to do a top three in a while because we've been playing catch up. But I think this is a perfect time to do one. This week's top three will be top three Undertaker matches or moments, either one. So Don, I'll let you start. And I think I just tipped off one of them, but at least you got others.
All right, so number 3 we got Mankind versus Undertaker when Undertaker threw Mankind off the cage the cell. Uh, that was the first time I actually sat down and watched the pay-per-view. And I thought he died because I remember I was watching it with my father, and me and him was like, whoa, I don't think that was supposed to happen. But then the match just kept on going, and Mick Foley to this day will be one of the greatest at all time. Just continuing fighting after all of that.
Did I ever
And
tell
then
you that I
great
met Mick
storytelling.
Foley?
No, you did not.
We, believe it or not, we ran into him at Five Guys in Daytona. Like
Hey,
he must have been working for TNA at the time. I don't know why he'd be in this general area, but yeah, we
yeah.
were at Five Guys after school one day, and he just comes up and he's ordering his food, and like we didn't want to bother him, but like one of she gets mentioned twice in this episode. Carly wanted a picture with him. I'm like, well, then you can ask him and I'll take the picture because I didn't really want to bother him. But so we did get to meet him for a minute, which was fun. And then he cruises away in his minivan that he was driving at the time, which I thought was pretty badass. So
That's cool. That's cool. I like to see celebrities. I would say he's a celebrity.
I'm shocked we were the only people that recognized because it was pretty full Five Guys that day, and like we were the only people that recognized him, which I thought was very surprising.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That
like,
is,
he didn't get swarmed or anything, so I didn't feel bad about that, you know. But yeah, nobody really. I guess if you're not looking for Mick Foley, he could just look like a normal guy, I guess. So that helps. It's
yeah.
not like you know, if Undertaker's at a Five Guys, you'll know because he's gonna be taller than everybody and all that. So, but I did want to throw that in there. So yeah, go ahead with your others.
All right, so number 2, we got when Undertaker got second-degree burns and still fought in elimination chambers, and like I actually when I heard it on the documentary, I had actually went back and watched the pay-per-view, then watched the match, and like you could see the camera going to him, and like you could see him actually like pacing back and forth, back and forth. You see him throw water on himself. I'm like something must have went wrong.
Right.
That's when I found out that he actually was burnt. He was hustling out there, boy. He was at he was gone, man.
And of course he's got to be the last one out, so he had to sit in there that much longer. So that double whammy.
Yeah, and I just want to say, man, he that right there solidified that this man is the man. Like if that was me, I'm done. I need a replacement.
Right.
Someone come in because
have Kane throw me off the stage or something. I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. Write me out for someone because, damn, can you imagine taking a bump after you just got second-degree burns on your back?
Crazy.
Ooh, on your chest and everything, bro. Hell no. And then we got our number one was Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. I can't remember the WrestleMania. I want to say WrestleMania
26, right?
26.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, that's when it was the first match with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, just because the moment of when, cause like me and you were camera guys,
yes.
and like can you imagine we were out there recording and Shawn Michaels pulls us into to take a bump with Undertaker flying against us? Can you imagine that? That would be the biggest moment of your life.
And unless you fuck it up like the guy did.
Yeah.
Do you know who that camera? Because it was obviously a plant cameraman. Do you know who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
No, no.
Do you remember the tag team Deuce and Domino? I know
Yes.
the one of them is Jimmy Snuka's like son or nephew or whatever, and that's who was in that spot at that moment. So not Domino. Not Deuce, because Deuce is Cliff Compton, an indie wrestler. So Domino would have been Snuka's son or nephew or whoever it was, and that's who was in that role at that moment. So we kind of ruined his career after that. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope though. But I would have loved to have been in that moment.
For sure, yeah. Because I think we would have caught the motherfucker. Like that would have been helpful, right?
Yeah.
Because not only did he not catch him, he almost like DDTs himself on the camera, which would have been even worse. So, well, very memorable moment for almost all the wrong reasons. But the fact that he's still walking around, we can look at it positively, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
So, number 3 for me, and this is an interesting one. It's no shock being who my favorite wrestler is, but the Undertaker Jeff Hardy ladder match for the undisputed title. To me, this was kind of forgotten in time for a little while, and only recently WWE is like plugging it more. They had him talk about it on Stone Cold Sessions. They put the full match on their YouTube channel recently. They mentioned it. Obviously, Jeff Hardy was in the ring. He is now considered one of his great opponents, when really that was one of the few encounters they ever had against each other. So I'm glad this match is finally getting the credit it deserves for. As a younger, this was 2002, 2003, so I'm still fairly young as this happens. And it's the first time I realized, wow, I know Jeff lost, but he looks like $1 million. And it was the first light bulb for me that a guy doesn't have to win to get over. And I didn't even know the term get over at the time, but like, it was a very eye-opening experience for me. It's like, yeah, he didn't win the title, but damn, he looks like $1 million now, So that has a, sentimental and just educational value for me. So that has to go there for sure. You mentioned the Hell in the Cell with Mick Foley, which is an obvious one too. So I left it off because I assumed you would pick it up. But the first one with Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood as a match, that match is way better. Good. And for some people, they've probably seen the clips, but to go back and watch it, obviously it's the first Hell in the Cell. People don't really know what to expect, but the stuff that they go through in that match is fantastic, and it's probably a better overall match than the Mick Foley one. Not that isn't great. And then it's also piggybacked off the greatest debut in wrestling when Kane shows up. So that whole match and moment, I think, would have to be that for sure. Number 1 is again a little self-pandering, but it's Undertaker versus Edge at WrestleMania 24 for no other reason except I was there. It's the first time that I've seen the Undertaker. Actually, I take that back. I went to a SmackDown once where he was, but it was a time where he was just kind of, Undertaker's always kind of been there, but this is the first time I've seen him. He's world champion. He's coming out. He's defending the streak. I finally got the full Undertaker experience at WrestleMania 24. He beats Edge. The fireworks go off. The fireworks actually caught a house on fire outside the Citrus Bowl that year, which is crazy. You can look up that article. But yeah, that was, it's funny. As much as, I've been to so many wrestling events. I've never been to a Monday Night Raw, but I've been to 2 WrestleManias. So, but that was the first one. That was the first show I've been to that wasn't like a house show or just like a regular SmackDown or whatever. So yeah, that will always hit close to home because you really got to see the full Undertaker experience there. We normally do honorable mentions for this, but I want to tweak it up a little bit. There's been so many versions of the Undertaker. Do you have a favorite and a least favorite version of the Undertaker?
I don't have a least favorite.
Okay.
Because they're all great, but my favorite is American Badass. The first one when he came out to Limp Bizkit. Just because the theme song and then him coming out on the motorcycle, that just made it 10 times better.
I would have loved for him to finish his career as American Badass so he could be more of a human and more like talking to fans and engage
Yeah.
fans, which he's kind of going to do in retirement, which works out. And we kind of got that with the Boneyard match. So, but like, I would have liked to see him come out on the motorcycle on a ramp. You know, obviously with no fans, it doesn't have the same effect. But I wish the Badass Undertaker was the run was a little longer. Is what I would have liked, I guess. I actually do have a least favorite Undertaker, and it might be a little controversial for people, but when I first started watching wrestling, peak Attitude Era, and I didn't love the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. I love the Ministry of Darkness. I don't like how he looked at that time. I like the grouping. I liked it, but he didn't seem as much like. To me, it's the least impactful one, because it's like it's all the same stuff as like Purple Gloves Taker, but without the distinguishing purple gloves and stuff, and um, he has some, and I'm talking like how he looked and how he was portrayed at the time. Because again, the Ministry itself was awesome, but for some like that's like if I could skip over that little 2-year run, like I love everything else Undertaker's ever done. So good to see the Undertaker. And some people say like, oh, it sucks that he his farewell was not in front of fans. Well, let's be realistic. He's had plenty of farewells in front of fans. They've dragged it out enough that this might make it easier. Honestly, you talk about athletes that they don't retire because they don't want to leave the field or whatever, and it's like when it's not their choice, when it's kind of taken out of their hands, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
And it might have been easier to walk away from an empty arena. So maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that they're finally letting them just sit down and don't call them no more, man. Only time you call them is not for no matches.
No.
A special appearance is okay. To be a producer for a match or here and there, it will be okay. But no more matches. Undertaker's done.
Yeah.
Just let him rest in peace in in his terms.
That was a great line. Did you just come up with that?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
All right, so that was Survivor Series as well as The Undertaker. And if you haven't seen the Stone Cold Sessions round 2 with The Undertaker and you have 2 hours to kill, definitely. And even I've rewatched it because I'm psycho like that, I guess. But I just put it on in my car because it's essentially just a podcast, so you can listen to it. You don't have to be watching it. So great stuff. Definitely check that out. Going to shift to AEW. Tomorrow night is their Dynamite special called Winter is Coming, which is perfectly done because the temperature in Florida dropped like 30 degrees just yesterday. So it's very fitting, and I don't know if they got a weatherman on the payroll there, but it worked out very well. A lot of great matches, obviously headlined by Moxley versus Omega for the AEW Championship, and recently, John Moxley actually said in an interview that him and Renee Young are expecting. So that does lead, congrats to them, by the way, but that does lead to speculation that maybe he's dropping the belt to worry about that for a little while. So that could be very interesting. Another match that they have is Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin against Team Taz, which now has Powerhouse Will Hobbs. He had a match on Dynamite last week where he's wearing essentially a singlet, and it's very Taz-like. I really dig it for him. We sometimes talk about how what they're putting Keith Lee in isn't very flattering. They figured it out with Will Hobbs. He's a big dude. He's a beefy guy, and they actually found something that properly shows off his physique and everything. And there is a battle royal, and as I mentioned, I'm a psycho for battle royals. It's the second ever Diamond Ring Battle Royal. MJF won the first one. He's going to be in this one. I don't know if his ring is up for grabs or if there's going to be another one. So I'm interested to see that. And I'm extra pumped for this Dynamite because, big surprise, you might have seen me say on Twitter, I will be there live tomorrow. So I am very, very excited. Me, Billy, and Jake were able to get tickets. Donovan had to work or he would be there with us, so you will be missed, buddy. But we are pretty excited too. It's my first sporting event that I wasn't working anyway of 2020. So we are pretty excited to go out there. So out of all those, the Battle Royal, the big tag team match, and let me rewind a minute. Powerhouse Hobbs. Do you like the name? Should it have just been Will Hobbs? What do you think?
I think it should just be Will Hobbs.
I think it should be a nickname like the Powerhouse Will Hobbs. I think
yeah. But not all together like how it is.
Yeah.
Like how they're presenting it.
I mean,
I do like that too.
yeah. I mean, Powerhouse Hobbs has that double H in there. Like, I see what they're going for. And who knows? I mean, they could always tweak it to what I just said, too, so that could work out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so very excited about that. I usually don't like to say stuff that I don't know for sure I'm going to go through with, but I might try and put a vlog together. Never really done one, but this seems like a good example to do it. So keep an eye out on the channel. You might get that in the next couple days. So that is tomorrow. Very much looking forward to that. And then Saturday, we have NXT TakeOver War Games, to quote William Regal. I don't want to scream it like he does because it's a little late right now. But
War Games.
there's only 4 matches announced right now. I assume on NXT tomorrow they'll throw a match or 2 on there. No NXT Championship match yet, so that might take shape. But from what we're working on here, we kind of touched on this last week, obviously, but we'll kind of wrap it up in it this way. We'll start with the 2 War Games matches. We'll start with the ladies first. Team Shotzi versus Team Candice. There's still one person on the Blackheart team that has not been established, one TBA on there. But who do you think gets the win in this one?
I think you probably got to give it to Shotzi.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas team is gonna look at stacked. I mean, because like what they have so far is like Ember Moon,
Rhea
Shotzi,
Ripley, and Shotzi. So they're missing one.
Oh, you know who's gonna be that last person? I'm calling it now.
Okay.
Io.
Io Shirai, yeah.
Io's gonna be the last person.
The other team being Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. So that should be a good one. I think this might actually be better than last year's. I think the overall talent of it might be a little better this time around, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. The match that I assume will main event. Actually, you know what? I'll save the other war because I assume this is going to main event because the show's called War Games, for God's sakes. So it's got to go on last. Strap match, Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes. I think you got to give it to Lumis because he's the big return and everything. So I got Lumis winning this one.
I got Lumis as well. I hope this is the last match that we see because I mean we've gotten a lot of matches between these 2.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing them this be the last one. You know, I like strap matches. Strap matches are pretty cool.
Yeah.
It definitely fits his Dexter Lumis persona.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, kind of like AEW having the dog collar match. Haven't seen one of those in a long time, so it's it's cool that they're going to throw one out there. North American Championship match, triple threat. I love what they're doing with Leon Ruff. He slaps Damian Priest, saying, I'm not a charity case or anything. I'd imagine Damian Priest gets his belt back here unless they really are going to run with Leon a little bit longer. What do you think?
All right, so I'm calling it now. This is exactly what's going to happen. Leon Ruff is going to win. How, Donovan? How is he going to win? Let me tell you. He's going to Damian Priest is going to do his finisher on Johnny Gargano. Leon Ruff is going to toss Damian Priest out the ring. 1, 2, 3. Leon Ruff wins.
I mean, the beauty of it being a triple threat is there's 101 ways that he can win, so it's not impossible.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's no DQ as well, so it's like it makes it even better.
And I could see that happening, and then maybe the next big show it's Leon straight against Damian Priest, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He gets his belt. So I could definitely see it going that way. Extend his run another couple weeks or a month or whatever it is.
I'm cool with that too. Like, because I like him. I like him as a character. He's growing on a lot of people, and like we talked about before, he deserved this shit because he's been put through hell.
Yeah.
As a jobber, so it's like he can use this shit.
Then what we assume is the main event, the War Games match, the Undisputed Era against the Brand, Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan. There's no way Pat doesn't win this because how many times is he gonna, he lost to Adam Cole one-on-one, but this is the perfect way for him to actually get a win, in WWE, in wrestling. My only drawback is Undisputed Era has been in War Games matches before, correct?
Yes, they've been in every single one of them.
Have they won any of them?
Yeah, they won every single one, but the last year's.
Okay, that was my only concern. It's like they can't keep being in these and losing. But if they've won most of them, then yeah, I think it's obvious that Pat and the
Yeah,
boys take this one.
yeah, because they that last year that was Tommaso Ciampa's team that won last year's.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what happened, and this is definitely different because roles are reversed. Because they always came in as the heel. Now they're coming up as a baby face at the moment. Um, I'm excited for this match because I want to see what Pat McAfee is gonna do, yo. I feel like he's gonna trying to run around sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but I still think it's gonna be great, and they got the advantage. So like it's gonna two people gonna start it off, but then they got the upper hand because Pete Dunne won that ladder match last week.
Yeah, Undisputed Era won the first NXT War Games against Sanity and the Authors of Pain, so they do have their win in there. So that gets rid of that little issue.
I think I think they won again because that next year that
That was when Kevin Owens came back.
that was the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So at
Because
least
that's when Roderick Strong became part of UE.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
He turned on Pete Dunne.
Yeah, Pete Dunne. Yep. Which is the exact reason that Pete Dunne is with McAfee to get back at Roderick and that whole wrestling.
Yeah.
So long-term
It's
booking.
long term booking, bro. We got it. We got it.
They probably fell ass backwards into it, but I'll give it. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Enjoy Winter is Coming tomorrow. I know I will. Look out for that vlog that I'm going to try. I've wanted to do it for other things I've gone to, but this seems like the perfect time to do it. So look out for that vlog maybe later in the week. Enjoy Winter is Coming. Enjoy NXT, and enjoy War Games on Saturday. So thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week, probably Monday night, if not Tuesday. And thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.